It was a bustling Saturday night at Langley's, a high-end steakhouse in Chicago, known for its elegant chandeliers, crisp white tablecloths, and an air of exclusivity. The restaurant was packed with well-dressed patrons enjoying their expensive meals and fine wines. Waiters moved gracefully between tables, their hands steady as they carried plates of exquisitely prepared dishes. Among them was a young waitress named Hannah Carter, a 22-year-old college student working double shifts to pay for her tuition. At a corner table, a group of 3 women sat, their presence commanding attention. Leading them was Veronica St. Clair, a well-known socialite in her late 40s, draped in designer attire and adorned with sparkling jewelry. She had spent her life in wealth and luxury, believing that status determined worth. To Veronica, people like Hannah were invisible, only useful when serving her needs. Hannah was exhausted. It had been a relentless shift, and she could feel the strain in her legs. As she approached Veronica's table, her hands trembled slightly while setting down their plates. Veronica noticed this and smirked. "That took long enough," she scoffed, examining her steak. "Is this supposed to be medium rare? It looks overcooked." "I'm very sorry, ma'am," Hannah replied, her voice even but tired. "I can have the kitchen prepare a new one right away." Veronica waved her off with a dramatic sigh. "Oh, don't bother apologizing. How hard is it to follow an order correctly?" Her friends chuckled, clearly enjoying her sharp tongue. Hannah's face burned, but she kept her expression neutral. The other customers nearby shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension. In the far corner, an older gentleman in a tailored navy suit observed the interaction with a calm but discerning expression. He had remained silent throughout his meal, but his eyes never left Veronica's table. As Hannah carefully lifted Veronica's plate to take it back to the kitchen, Veronica leaned back with a condescending laugh. "Honestly, they'll hire anyone these days. Can't even balance a plate without looking like they're about to drop it." Her friends erupted into laughter. Hannah swallowed hard, refusing to let the sting of the words show. She had encountered rude customers before, but Veronica's cruelty was different. It felt personal. Taking a deep breath, she turned and made her way to the kitchen. Meanwhile, the man in the navy suit continued to watch, his fingers tapping lightly against the table. When Hannah returned with a freshly prepared dish, she placed it before Veronica with her usual professionalism. "Here you are, ma'am. The chef made it fresh for you." Veronica barely glanced at it. "I suppose it will do," she muttered dismissively. "Next time, get it right the first time." Then, she added with a smirk, "And maybe take a class on how to walk properly. You're making this place look cheap." At that moment, the man in the navy suit rose from his seat and approached the restaurant manager. They exchanged a few quiet words before the manager nodded, looking slightly surprised. Unaware of this, Veronica continued boasting to her friends about her latest vacation in Europe, laughing loudly. But when she requested the check, the manager returned with an envelope and a bottle of champagne, followed closely by Hannah. Expecting some complimentary perks for her status, Veronica grinned, but her smile faded when the man in the navy suit stepped forward. "I'd like to introduce myself," he said smoothly. "I'm Arthur Langley, the owner of this establishment." Veronica's eyes widened in shock, her arrogance momentarily cracking. Arthur turned his gaze toward Hannah. "And this young woman you've been belittling all evening is Hannah Carter. She's been with us for 2 years, and she is one of the most hardworking members of our staff." A hush fell over the restaurant. Veronica's confidence wavered as Arthur continued. "Money can buy luxury, Miss St. Clair," he said, his voice even, "but it does not buy the right to demean those who serve you." Veronica opened her mouth to defend herself, but Arthur raised a hand. "This isn't about punishing you. It's about recognizing the impact of your words and actions." He placed the envelope in front of her. "Instead of offering you free champagne, I will be donating the cost of your meal to a scholarship fund for young people like Hannah who work hard to create a better future for themselves." Soft murmurs filled the room, followed by quiet applause from a few tables. Veronica's face flushed deep red. She had always been the center of admiration, but now all eyes were on her for the wrong reasons. Her friends, unsure of how to respond, avoided her gaze. Hannah stood beside Arthur, her posture a little straighter than before. She felt seen not just as a waitress but as a person who mattered. Veronica, realizing there was no graceful way to recover, mumbled a barely audible "thank you for the meal" and hurriedly gathered her things. Her friends followed, their once amused expressions now replaced with unease. As they exited the restaurant, the atmosphere shifted. Other diners nodded at Hannah with newfound respect, some leaving generous tips, others simply offering kind words as they departed. Arthur turned to Hannah with a kind smile. "Keep working hard. You have a bright future ahead." She nodded, gratitude shining in her eyes. The night continued, but something had changed at Langley's. A lesson had been learned, not just by Veronica St. Clair, but by everyone who had witnessed the exchange. Respect is not determined by wealth or status. It is earned through kindness and decency. Because at the end of the day, true worth isn't measured by what's in your bank account, but by how you treat the people around you. If the story resonated with you, share it with someone who might need the reminder. And remember, kindness is free, but its impact is priceless.